Gamergate, it is time to step up our game. We can end this bitch once and for all.
They want someone to kill you.
I know they do, yeah. I get enough death threats.
You're going to die. Death is coming to you real soon, mother.
Remember the American dentist that killed Cecil the lion? Online vigilantes shamed, threatened, made life hell for him. Perhaps you think Walter Palmer and others got what they deserve. But what about when an online mob descends on the parents of children killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting? Many victims feel the justice system leaves them defenseless against internet attacks and want to change how we communicate online.
Well, this is one way I get to feel Noah close to me on a daily basis. So this was one of the cars. That was his. And his twin sisters, they had matching planes.
Leonard Posner's 6-year-old son, Noah, was one of 20 students and 6 adults killed in the 2012 shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut.
He had just turned 6, so he had just lost his first tooth, and his birthday was on November 20th, so it was literally just weeks before the shooting. That was the nuclear explosion in my life.
President Barack Obama called it the worst day of his presidency.
I can only hope it helps for you to know that you're not alone in your grief.
Sandy Hook took center stage in the gun debate, making the tragedy personal and political. Soon after, a small and vocal group of conspiracy theorists took to the internet, calling Sandy Hook
fabricated.
It's fake.
I believe they're trying to cover something up.
We've clearly got people where it's actors playing different parts of different people. It's a total hoax.
This is my page, which existed to post images of Noah. After the shooting, I started noticing I was getting comments, but they were hate comments.
Posner and other parents were accused of being government operatives who staged the massacre. After Posner tried to prove that his son's death was real, he became a target. His address, phone number, and other personal information spread online.
They're hoping that the right person comes along and reads that information and then does something about it.
Did you hide your imaginary son in the attic? Are you still f***ing him? You f***ing Jew bastard?
That's why Posner, who's now divorced, says he feels the need to keep moving. 6 times in 6 years. It's also why he won't show his face anymore.
You're really concerned that people might be able to figure out where you are based on this interview?
There have been interviews done where people used parts of the railing on my balcony to identify where I live.
Who's been the #1 offender in your life?
Wolfgang Halbig is the one that emails my comprehensive background check to thousands of people.
I don't want to believe it's a false flag, but when you've got Wolfgang Halbig, you went and investigated, no paperwork, it's bull.
I see people like Halbig like cyber serial killers. They have no conscience. They don't care who they hurt.
Wolfgang Halbig has spent countless hours examining photos, videos, and news reports. He thinks Sandy Hook is a conspiracy.
The question that has to be asked in this picture, where are all the police cars? There's not one to be seen.
Halbig thinks ABC News fabricated its special report on the shooting.
The site today of a mass shooting, and this time gunfire aimed at elementary school children.
I think they shot the video 2 days before the shooting.
So you think Diane Zora was in on it?
Yep. And I challenge you and your company to verify it.
This is nutty.
He also thinks other mass shootings have been staged by activists who want to restrict the rights of gun owners.
So Parkland, do you think that was a hoax too?
I think it's an outright hoax. It is an illusion.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is, why would you do a background check on a father, a grieving father who lost his son?
You don't even know whether they're dead or not. You don't even know.
I do.
How do you know? Did you see the bodies in the casket?
The Sandy Hook shooting, that's been investigated by the Connecticut State Police, by the FBI.
When a parent claims that he lost a child at Sandy Hook, he's become open game.
Halbig tells us his family has begged him to stop his pursuit of Sandy Hook.
It's the first time ever that my two sons did not call me on Father's Day to say, "Dad, happy Father's Day." They are so angry that I'm still involved in this thing, but I cannot let it go because I really believe I am right.
Leonard Posner has filed police reports against Halbig and worked with online platforms to remove thousands of defamatory claims. But the harassment campaign continues. Danielle Citron is a law professor who specializes in online privacy. She sees situations like Posner's being the result of social attitudes and law enforcement not taking these cases seriously.
In Lenny Posner's case, the people who've been targeting him, they're true believers. Shouldn't their free speech be protected even if they're saying something that most people disagree with?
If they are spreading factual falsehoods, that's what a defamation suit litigates.
But where is that line? Remember that dentist, the one who shot the lion?
lion.
Isn't that free speech?
That's online harassment.
They're harassing him.
Shaming and that cycle of shaming can very easily cross the line into the very kind of stalking, threats, privacy invasions, and defamation, technical attacks that should be criminalized.
What's the reluctance then on the part of law enforcement to go after these cases?
We have a number of fabulous law enforcers across the country who are trying, right? We don't hear about them enough, and there are not enough of them.
And this has to happen at the federal level?
Federal and state.
The Pew Research Center reports that 41% of Americans have been personally subjected to harassing behavior online, but only 19% think law enforcement takes harassment complaints seriously. When this piece was published, Posner's local police did not respond to a request for comment, but the FBI argues that it's the sheer volume of reports they receive which accounts for any perceived lack of follow-up. We visited a woman who lives near Boston who's trying to change legislation.
Can do that.
Oh! Brianna Wu is a video game developer. She was one of several women harassed for challenging sexist stereotypes in gaming.
Gamergate. It's a story about sexism in the world of video gaming.
Brianna Wu has been outspoken. She says she and her husband had to flee their home this weekend.
Gamergate was the birth of a set of tactics that you could use to silence people that you didn't like.
How bad did it get?
The death threats that they sent, guess what, bitch? I know where you live. Your dead, mutilated corpse will be on the front page of Jezebel tomorrow. If you have any children, they are going to die too.
You've memorized these.
You don't get something like that and not have it scare the hell out of you.
People have impersonated her to get private documents, taken photos of her from across the street, and recently a brick was thrown through her window. Wu has decided to put her video game career on hold to pursue politics.
One of the reasons I ran for Congress is because it's like, I'm on this list, I'm going to be harassed, so instead of making games, let's get to a point where we're trying to change policy.
So what happens if you don't win this primary?
I run again in 2020. I am in this for the long run.
Lenny Posner shares Brianna Wu's belief that change is going to take a movement.
People need to take civil action against online cyberstalking. You have to sue everyone harassing you online.
After nearly 6 years of alleged harassment, 7 families of Sandy Hook victims and an FBI agent are seeking at least $1 million in damages from Halbig and Alex Jones. Representatives for Alex Jones say the lawsuits against him lack merit. Wu lost in the Democratic primary election, but she hasn't lost her conviction, and neither has Leonard Posner.
Is this the rest of your life, you think?
Protecting Noah's honor? Absolutely, yes. Of course. There's a lot of education that needs to happen. The cyber world cannot be a free-for-all.